Donald Trump finally made an admission that he cannot back away from, and his followers are pissed. They are pissed. I'm going to show you that interview in a moment. Here he is talking about that interview moments before at his rally.
Look, she's incompetent. She can't do an interview? It's been months. She can't. I just did an interview backstage. She was a very terrible person, but she was okay, actually. NBC fake news. It was NBC fake news. She asked me about all sorts of things. She asked me about abortion, and I handled it very nicely.
First off, do you think he to me is just sounding more and more old? Like, he is sounding like an old man. He doesn't sound like himself. He's NBC. It doesn't sound like him anymore. He's right. Kamala did do an interview today, and it was awesome. She crushed it. She answered a lot of tough questions. It would be nice if Donald Trump actually had a sit-down interview with mainstream media outlets, not Fox News, not sympathetic, quote-unquote, reporters, not Fox Entertainment, not Newsmax, a real network. He won't do it. This is the most we're going to get from him, and this is why. Because when he has an interview with a real reporter, he can't handle himself, and he gets himself into trouble. Watch this. This is truly, I'm going to show you some of these responses. It's truly having his voters saying, this is reminding me why I don't want to vote for him. This is another example of why I can't trust this guy. Watch this.
You overturned,
well, everyone does.
I think Roe, does, yeah. And you want abortion to be a states' rights issue. In Florida, the state that you are a resident of, there's an abortion-related amendment on the ballot to overturn the 6-week ban in Florida. How are you going to vote on that?
Well, I think the 6-week is too short. It has to be more time, and so and I've told them that I want more weeks.
So you'll vote in favor of the amendment?
I'm voting that I am going to be voting that we need more than 6 weeks. Look, just so you understand, everybody wanted Roe v. Wade terminated for years, 52 years. I got it done. They wanted it to go back to the states. Exceptions are very important for me, for Ronald Reagan, for others that have navigated this very, very interesting and difficult path.
You overturned.
Well, everyone does.
Okay, so a lot of lies there. One, he says he needs. So what you're seeing there is in Florida, they have a ballot proposal that Nikki Fried, who I worked with when she ran for governor, and is now the Democratic Party chair in Florida. She's doing amazing work. She's one of the reasons why this ballot proposal has made its way to voters. And so right now in Florida, because of Donald Trump and his judges, Roe v. Wade was overturned. It was brought back to the states, and the state of Florida put in a 6-week ban. That means anyone who was pregnant for more than 6 weeks could not get the health care they needed. And this ballot proposal will put into the state's constitution that Roe v. Wade would be the law of the land, that, you know, you could have an abortion up until viability. So everyone had been wondering, what is Donald Trump going to vote? It was kind of a clear line in the sand. Like, are you for, quote unquote, life? Are you for life? Or are you for women's rights? And it was a bit of a pickle for him, politically speaking. And there was no answer he could give that would help him with this election, because it is all because of him that this is happening. And now it's kind of karma that he has to make the decision for himself. And of course, he says that everyone wanted to overturn. Not true. Roe v. Wade was very much so. Everyone, not everyone, but a vast majority of Americans were for it. But are you ready to see Donald Trump's voters pissed off at him, frankly, and many saying they're not going to vote for him? You ready for this? Let's read some. Okay, Patrick Brown says, backstabbing the pro-life movement on the Florida abortion amendment and introducing free IVF for all. I hope all the people who told me he was the most pro-life president of our lifetime sleep well tonight. Well, Patrick, I hope you sleep well tonight. David French says he's pro-choice. Every single pro-life evangelical voting for him is voting for a man who is pro-choice and found liable for sexual abuse of a jury of his peers. Never ever thought I'd see this day. To restore the pro-life movement in the GOP, he has to lose. Oh my gosh. Joseph, who's not a supporter, but says me knowing the statement cost the person who killed Roe v. Wade more votes than it earns him. Okay, Daniel Darling says, awful. Leave it to the states is now criticize the states when they actually pass abortion restrictions. He is just getting eaten up. Stephen says, everything Donald Trump says in this interview would have gotten me dragged out of my Southern Baptist church and got me called a baby killer. But despite coming out pro-choice, he's still the overwhelming choice among evangelicals. Could have primaried anyone else. Joe Patrice says, I'm just reading these. I'm just going down the list. That's how many there are. This is so clumsy. He doesn't actually say how he'd vote on the amendment, so he doesn't gain ground with voters. And by saying this at all, he alienates single issue abortion voters. Just something for nobody. Yeah, that's kind of right, Joe. John V. Moore has a meme. Free IVF, now this. Next thing you know, he will tell us what his pronouns are. So, I hope you enjoyed that, because there are, if you're feeling down, there are thousands of posts like that, each one more enjoyable than the next, attacking Donald Trump. His voters are fleeing. I didn't show you what. There are many posts too where they're just saying, I'm not voting for this guy. I'm not voting for this guy. I'm not gonna get lied to anymore from this guy. Now, of course, everything will change between now and November. But this is a big deal, and we should relish in it.
I don't know what's wrong with you young people. You think you just fell out of a coconut tree?